All right, real quick, who can tell me what a square root is? Who can describe it to me? Like, what does it mean when I'm taking the square root? Nobody? Nobody can tell me what it is?
Divide by 4.
What's up?
Divide by 4.
Not quite. You're close with the word divide, but it's not exactly divided, right? So square root's kind of like it's kind of like multiplication and division, like that stuff. Like squaring and square rooting are like opposites, like multiplication, division. Squaring is like multiplication. Square rooting is like division. So in essence, if we think of this as a multiplication problem, it might be a little easier for us. So I want you guys to think, what times itself gives me 49? So what times what gives me 49?
7 times 7.
So 7 is the square root of 49.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we need to kind of understand is how do we get these things? And today is going to be about like perfect squares and square roots and all that fun stuff. So let's start out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll go to 12. So this is my number, and this is the square of that number. So 1 times 1 is 1. What's 2 times 2?
4.
Anybody? 2 times 2?
It is 4.
3 times 3?
9.
4 times 4? 'Remember, I grade you guys on participation as well.
16.
5 times 5?
One said it.
5 times 5?
Isn't that 25? 25?
It is. 6 times 6?
36.
36.
7 times 7? 8 times 8?
49.
64.
9 times 9? 81?
7. Oh, 8.
10 times 10?
100.
11 times 11 is 121, and 12 times 12 is 144. Now, why would I have you do this? Well, when we take the square root, we actually reverse these arrows.
Oh, that did not work for you, Harmon.
It did not, but that's okay. It's a quick fix. So with square roots, we reverse the arrows. So we go back this way. So this would be square roots. Now, you guys said that the square root of 49 was 7. So what's the square root of 4? So let's look at our list, find 4, and then trace the red arrow back.
2.
2. But now, do you guys see how there's this negative out front? This thing right there? So my answer would be -2. Who can tell me what the square root of 36 is?
It's 6.
Now this one's a little weird because there's a box and a box. So they want two answers. But let's look at that sign out in front. What does this sign look like? What does that sign look like? It looks like two signs put together. What two signs?
Addition and the equal sign.
Yeah, addition and subtraction. So my two answers would be a positive 6 and a negative 6. What's the square root of 0?
0.
What's the square root of 100?
10.
Now, this one's just using words. It says, what is the positive square root of 16? So what's the square root of 16?
4.
4. And it's just going to be positive 4. All right, now, what do we do when we get to the square root of 324? Well, here, we take our calculator. So we're going to take our calculator and we're going to do this. Watch. As soon as it loads. Did it load?
Harmon, can you make your screen any bigger, that IXL information?
No.
Okay. Well, you just did.
I didn't touch anything.
Oh, really? It definitely got a little bigger. Whoa.
So now what we can do is we take our calculator. Hopefully it loads quicker now. And then we're going to use that to tell us what the square root of 324 is. So everybody take your calculator, turn it on. Of course, we get the spinning wheel of doom. All right, that's not working. So here's how we're going to do this. All right. So everybody's got their calculator. I'm sure everybody's got one like this. Is that not going to load? There we go. Oh, of course it loads now. All right. So on this calculator, the one we use for class, here's what we do. We can do the square root, so we hit the blue button or the yellow button and hit this x squared button, because notice it's got a little check box, all right, kind of like this house right there. And then we're going to type in 324 and hit enter. We get 18. So for a problem like this, we do the same thing. We can do the square root of 0.01. And we all said that the plus and minus sign here looked like a plus and minus sign, so it would be 0.1 and negative 0.1. Any ideas what we would do here? All right, well, there's two ways to do this problem. One, we can take the square root of 64 over 81. And we get this, and then we can convert that to a fraction, 8/9. Or we could use our list and look at it as what's the square root of 64 and what's the square root of 81. Square root of 64 is 8. So since the negative sign's outside, it'd be -8. And the square root of 81 is 9. What is the negative square root of 0.36? So we would do the square root of 0.36. That's 0.6, but we want the negative square root. So I would type in negative 0.6. The positive square root of 0.09. .3. And we can keep doing this until we get to the end. Do you guys have any questions?